Bahamas, mountain back to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Pocondre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia, for Liberia, Liberia, for Liberia, yeah. From Monday to Sunday, from Monday to Sunday, it's focus on Liberia. Talk about home affairs, in diaspora, current affairs, reliable information, history, talking about culture, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
And I am Anthony Siede. Good afternoon, wherever you are, and good morning to those who are in the morning hours. This is, of course, Focus on Liberia. My name is Anthony Siede, the host of the Hour of Politics, and this is yet another edition of the show. Do us a favor and share the broadcast with somebody. The runoff election is all set. I'm talking about the presidential runoff election between Ambassador Joseph Weah Boakai, former Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, and our current President, George Weah. They are all set. We are hearing that the date is the 7th of November. That is barely 2 weeks from today. Liberians will be going back to the polls in a runoff election to decide whether George Weah get re-elected or Joseph Weah Boakai get elected as president of Liberia this time around. And so in today's edition, we are here to give you a roadmap that will propel each of them to a runoff victory. In other words, there are things that must be done when done by President Weah to ensure that he gets re-elected. Equally so, there are possibilities for Joseph Boakai to become president or to be elected, but there are some elements, some political variables, some things they must do to make it possible. And we have those things to lay on you so that you can have a clue that whoever goes to do these things, talking about Weah and Boakai, victory definitely will be on their side. So we are here to talk about the roadmap to runoff victory for both President Weah and Vice President Joseph Weah Boakai. Again, if you have not shared the show, you want to share the show right now. There are things the CDC and President Weah must do to ensure that victory in the runoff is nothing but theirs. equally, there are things the Unity Party and Joseph Weah Boakai must do and begin to start doing right now for victory to be on their side. We have those variables. We're going to present them to you, and this is going to be a brief and succinct analysis to give you a clue that victory is possible for either side if that side does better with the things that we have to share. Now, we will go into the presentation of these variables right now, but after this.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
So we will now start with what President Weah and the CDC must do to get the victory that they need in this upcoming runoff. So we know for a fact that President Weah got 43.8%. So we will now start with what Joseph Weah Boakai must do and what the Unity Party must do. The things they must do in order to win this thing on the 7th of November. So first of all, President Weah got 43.8% of the total vote tally so far. I understand today they will be releasing additional results. That will be the final results, by the way. But what's left is less than 1%. So it's not going to make any significant difference, right? President Weah got 43.8%, leaving on the table 56.2%. So you have the ruling government against the opposition. That's what we had in the first round of the election. And the ruling government, the CDC, got 43.8%, whereas 56.2% was left on the table for the opposition to grab. So what Boakai and the Unity Party need to do right now is to do everything in their power right now to collect that 56.2%. Once they get that 56.2%, victory is theirs, period. And the entire opposition, meaning those who contested for the in the election and were not CDC, they combined got 56.2%. So if Boakai and the Unity Party can go all out to seek the 56.2%, even if they will not get the entire 56.2%, if they can get be a 52, 53, victory is theirs. Now, how they do it is the magic. So how would they do it? They must go out right now to the entire opposition community, especially the major opposition political parties and the big names in the opposition. That will require a strong political leadership to unify the opposition that generates a national momentum. Unity Party now need to show political leadership. Joseph Boakai now needs to show political leadership. by immediately reaching out, to Cummings, to Ure, reaching out to the entire opposition community and making an argument to them why they need to hold together in order to defeat President Weah. Many of them said they were going to make President Weah a one-term president. And he has to make the case. Now, this is that opportunity. This is that opportunity. And it is also important for us to share that the Unity Party and Joseph Weah Boakai did extremely well in the first round of the election. They too got 43.49%. So they and CDC more like share the votes equally. So they have the Liberian people on their side to the greater extent. So again, the Unity Party, Joseph Weah Boakai, need to show a strong political leadership by unifying the entire opposition. Do not leave any stone unturned. Reach out to the entire opposition community and give them reasons why they should fulfill their promise that they will make President Weah a one-term president. Now, it should not be lukewarm. It should be effective. It should be robust. He should be quick on his feet. And they should have to find a way that it generates a momentum that gives the Liberian people hope. The CPP at some point had an impressive momentum. And so we saw the CPP sweeping nearly every seat that was up for re-election. We saw that with Darius Dillon and many other candidates that the CPP put forth and will go to defeat the CDC, even in the CDC's strongest hold, Mosorado County. So a unified opposition that gains a significant momentum and generates hope in the Liberian people. A unified opposition that has a momentum that amplifies the conditions in the country and explain the need for change can put this off against President Weah. That goes to also say an immediate reconciliation with the major opposition leaders should be ongoing right now. And that must be initiated by the Unity Party. A failure to unify the opposition, any lack of significant reconciliation with the major political parties and the major political leaders, the Cummings, the Ure, the Tiawan, not reaching out to these people, Sarah Besloyanti, Dr. Clarice Monaba, all these people, whether they got 10,000 votes, whether they get 29,000 votes, as was in the case of Cummings, reach out to them. Because the fact is, the runoff now is like a simple majority. Even if a candidate is to win just one vote over the other, this is a done deal. That's how it looks like. So reaching out to all the people in the opposition community by the Unity Party, making a case to them, and if they do so, I'm sure they have a chance, because I'm sure the Liberian people need change, and the conditions in the country will make the message to resonate with majority of the Liberian people. Because if you look at it, majority of the Liberian people did not vote for President Weah. President Weah got 43%, and the rest of the percentage was 56.2%. That left with the opposition. So if only the opposition can come together, which is the work that the Unity Party and Joseph Boakai need to do, if they can succeed with that, the possibility of a victory in a runoff should be very, very likely, and that is doable. Now, you can do all this, but yet the work is not done. resources come to mind. So an immediate resources mobilization in 10 days and deploying those resources speedily should be ongoing right now by the Unity Party and Joseph Weah Boakai. Money, 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 money. So an immediate resources mobilization should be ongoing right now. You have less than 2 weeks to do this. You don't have a minute, neither a day to waste. Resources mobilization must be going on right now. And as you are raising the resources, you are deploying them through the training of pool watchers and making sure that these people are contacted right now and being recruited and be trained. You must be on it right now. Where you find the money from, it's your responsibility if you want to get this business done. So again, an immediate resource mobilization and deploying the resources speedily must be done. I mean, you're talking about human resources, mainly the money and the people, and deploying them in the field must be ongoing right now. Another thing the Unity Party can do, they need to run an effective all counties campaign now with the prominent songs from the counties. That is what the Unity Party should be doing now. That an all counties campaign should start right now. Do not, for any reason or any circumstance, think that this region is insignificant, that they have less votes, because that was the strategy of the Unity Party, that the Southeast votes will be swallowed by Nima County, because Nima County votes double or triple the entire Southeast, and that they were sure of getting the entire vote from Nima County. And so the Southeast was insignificant. That was a wrong strategy, and the Unity Party need to throw that in the trash can and run an effective all counties campaign. They need to go into President Weah's strongholds, counties in which he's strong and poised to get more votes. The Unity Party need to go into the counties, use the prominent sons and daughters of those counties, and campaign and fight for every vote in every county. When they do, they will significantly reduce President Weah numbers in those counties. And also in their own strongholds, they must be able to get out the vote. An effective get out the vote campaign must be launched, must be sustained. As much as they do so, they will be propelling themselves to victory. Now, another thing the Unity Party can do is to tune down the rhetorics on tribal voting and Southeastern bashing. The Unity Party, its surrogates, have been bashing the Southeast, bashing Southeasterners, the tribal rhetorics accusing Southeasterners of being tribalistic. They need to stop that. It's not going to help them. They did that in the first round. It did not help. Joseph Boakai wants to be president for all Liberians. He wants to lead all counties. So he must be seen. They must have presence in all counties. They must run a unifying campaign. All Liberians should feel inclusive in the Unity Party's effort to preside over our nation. Bashing Southeasterners is unacceptable. For example, Prince Johnson has been on record that Southeasterners are not noted for being good leaders. How is that true? How? Have we had presidents in other regions of the country that you know have done extremely well? Do you know where the Chastater come from? How did Chastater do? Where did Ellen Johnson study come from? How did she do? And other presidents we've had in the past. I mean, it's a region that determines want ability to lead our country effectively as they should? Should people be judged now by region and not the ability of what they can do for our country? You can't be treading this path, because when you do, you divide the nation. Now, on the other side, the CDC, to their credit, is going into every county and fighting for every vote. We saw the CDC in Lima netting 50,000 plus votes. Lima is considered a Unity Party stronghold now because of Prince Johnson. Lofa County is the Unity Party stronghold. That's Vice President Joseph Weah Boakai's county. Even in Foya, the CDC went in Foya and started their way ahead of time. The CDC will win significant votes in Foya. That is how you campaign. You go into your opponent's stronghold and fight for every vote and diminish and reduce the person's votes, thereby increasing your chances. So the Unity Party must learn from that mistake that they made and go in the strongholds of President Weah and the CDC and campaign for every vote and make the case to Liberians that they deserve better and they can get a better life and that there can be a better leadership. They must do that. And they must stop engaging in threats of war and pushing this regionally divisive politics. For example, Joseph Boakai talked about if the election will not go his way, then Liberia is finished. And we have surrogates of the Unity Party talking about if they don't win the election, it will not be easy in Liberia. These things are not things they should be saying. The Unity Party has everything at its disposal, I was supposed, to contest and win this thing. I mean, imagine the first round, see how they perform. They told us that the Liberian people are resolved. Maybe they are right. So go to the people who are resolved and want change and make the case to them. And not being selective as to which county you should go to. This is a simple majority. The more votes you get, you win. So the Unity Party need to get it right. Another thing the Unity Party must do, they must swallow their pride, and that includes Joseph Weah Boakai. They should swallow their pride and reach out to those they hurt during the fighting period of the entire campaign. For example, they hurt Cummings so badly by testifying against him in a court of law. They accused Cummings of tampering with framework document. According to then Joseph Boakai top propagandists and surrogates, Henry Costa, they bully Alice Cummings. He took down Alice Cummings because of Joseph Weah Boakai. He was fighting for Joseph Weah Boakai, and so he destroyed Cummings. According to him, they destroyed the CPP because of Joseph Weah Boakai. You destroy somebody who and you in the same opposition community, somebody you will need tomorrow, and now this is the time you need the person, and you go and destroy that person when you all had a single goal, according to you, to make president. We are a one-term president, but you will go to destroy the one you will need. So they hurt a lot of people, Cummings in particular. The Euros are not happy. Costa is not happy. And many people are unhappy with the Unity Party, the way the Unity Party conducts itself. So the Unity Party must swallow its pride and reach out to these people. There are some people who have made a better choice in terms of a vice president or Joseph Weah Boakai, by not choosing those people alone constitute a hurt to them. Unity Party must reach out to those people and see how they can appeal to them. They need all the help they can get right now. As evident by the results, The entire opposition community put together got 56.2%, whereas President Weah got 43.8%. So if the Unity Party can make a concerted effort by reaching out to the other opposition leaders and parties to come and support them, if even they can get 100%, if they can get about 80%, victory is possible for the Unity Party and Josiah Weah Boakai. There is no other way. They must do that. Now, even if that is done, the Unity Party must exercise vigilance in poll washing, data collection, and protecting the vote at every polling place. We can say with clarity that the Unity Party did a horrible job in training, recruiting, and assigning poll watchers, collecting their own data, tallying their data, and announcing their own results based on tally sheet. The Unity Party did a horrible job. The Unity Party had claimed it had a war room. Just to find out the Unity Party had no war room. The Unity Party failed to assign poll watchers at every polling place. The Unity Party have failed to tally its own tally sheets and report their own finding or results way before the National Election Commission. The Unity Party failed. The Unity Party failed to learn from the mistake that they made in Lofa County when they lost the seat to CDC. The Unity Party lost that seat because the Unity Party was not at every polling place. The Unity Party did not collect a tally sheet. The Unity Party did not tally a tally sheet. The Unity Party did not announce what tallies they got from their war room in Lofa County. The Unity Party was virtually absent from its own county. The CDC will humiliate them and defeat them. Whatever way they did it anyway, and they got that victory, and the Unity Party does not have that seat today. Remember, the Unity Party had won the seat with Bernie Samunka. Samunka was indicted, and the seat was put up for re-election. And the Unity Party went to fight for that seat. The Unity Party will lose that seat that they have won. All because the Unity Party did not recruit, did not train, did not assign, did not collect its own tally sheet, and was not steps ahead of the National Election Commission to announce its own votes based on tally sheets. And so the Unity Party became a failure. The Unity Party repeated that mistake in the first round of the election. The Unity Party claimed it had a war room. A single number did not come from the Unity Party's war room. When they had their first press conference, we saw a Darius Dillon lying tongue talking about they have all their tally sheets showing or a blue plastic bag filled with tally sheets, and that they were inviting the media and everyone else in their war room where they would be able to calculate their numbers. That never happened because the Unity Party did not do a better job. Had nothing in place whatsoever in collecting its own data from the field and reporting them. So the Unity Party must learn from that blunder, that fiasco, and do a better job this time. The Unity Party must exercise vigilance at the polls, at every polling place, ensure that they get the tally sheet from every polling place, immediately calculate those tally sheets in their war room, be 10 steps ahead of the National Election Commission, and announce their number based on the tally sheets. Our election is set up in a very, very, very excellent way, I can argue. The elections are decided at the polling places. There where the ballot papers are counted. So each party must have a representative to confirm that the votes gotten by their candidates are their votes. And once that happens, they are calculated on a tally sheet, mounted on the wall, and each representative of each political party has the right to a copy. Those are the tally sheets that are calculated by the National Election Commission to determine the final numbers and announce a winner. So the elections are decided at the polling places. So if the Unity Party will do itself a favor, by recruiting, training, assigning, and collecting aid data, tabulating them, and announcing it to the Liberian people. And these tally sheets are always signed by the National Election Commission, making them authentic. The Unity Party must do so, must be tested, must even calculate aid data within 24 hours and announce that based on the tally sheet signed by National Election Commission and issued to our representative at the polling places, here are our numbers. When the Unity Party should do that, they will be heading their way to victory in as much as majority of the Liberian people vote for them, and it will be difficult for anything called cheating to happen. And the Unity Party, I must emphasize, must have a fast track and number-driven war room that is 10 steps ahead of the National Election Commission. If and when the Unity Party, through their leader Joseph Weah Boakai, should do these things, the Unity Party has every chance to win the runoff, and Joseph Weah Boakai and the Unity Party should be getting the last laugh this time. Also, the CDC has an impressive chance to win. And if you are just joining me, this is the Hour of Politics. We are discussing the roadmap to runoff victory for both the Unity Party and the CDC. And at the end of this presentation, I will be making a prediction as to who's going to win and who is able to do these things that must be done in order to pull that victory. Who is in a better position to do these things on the issue of resources, on the issue of recruiting and assigning pool watchers, on the issue of assigning pool watchers, by the way, all right? Who is well positioned to do these things as they should be done to ensure victory? So let us come to the CDC. The CDC, as I said earlier, has an impressive chance. This is a CDC that has been criticized as being inept, incompetent for 5 years by the opposition. This is a president who's been criticized heavily by the opposition. This is a government that is in power, and the economic conditions in our country are very harsh for our people. Many are hungry. The country is infested with drugs. When it comes to security, mysterious deaths, lies from this government, and the list goes on and on. All Liberians should have reasons, even including seditions, should have reason to get a break from this government, given what we've seen so far. And so the CDC have a lot of odds against it going into the election. So the CDC, in my opinion, was vulnerable. But this is the CDC and the President George Weah that will get 43.8% of the vote. How did it do it? If they can do that against the odds, the political narrative, the anger in the country, the frustration in the country, the political sentiment in the country that have been against the CDC, reports of corruption, reports from the U.S. State Department highlighting some excesses of the government, all of these things have been against the CDC. And yet this CDC will manage to net 43% of the vote, getting about equal numbers or a little over what the Unity Party that represent the opposition will get. That is a message that people should not overlook. So the CDC has an impressive chance. President Weah has an impressive chance. So then, what must the CDC do to win? Because the CDC said it was going to win the first round, and the CDC failed to do so, just as the Unity Party had claimed if we won the first round, and it also failed. What must the CDC do to pull the victory? We know that the CDC has cash and more resources. So the CDC to win must take advantage of the cash that it has and deploy the CDC elected lawmakers to campaign for the CDC in the counties. The CDC at the legislative level did extremely well. The CDC won 25 representative seats. The CDC won 25 representative seats, more than the Unity Party. So if the CDC that won more seats in the House of Representatives and also in the House of Senate can deploy their elected senators and representatives in the counties in which they won, in the districts in which they won, give them the resources, because these individuals, they use resources they had to their disposal, despite the hardship and the tough time that the government is having, because they use the resources they were able to win. For example, Nathaniel Maggie, this man was condemned by the U.S. government as being corrupt and sanctioned. Bay-12, the same thing. But yet, because these guys have resources, they use the resources and entice our people, they were able to win the election. And so the CDC ended up winning more seats in the House of Representatives and the Senate because of the advantage of having resources. And the Unity Party won less seats compared to the CDC. So if anything we can learn is the fact that having resources can make a difference, even though not in all cases, but it does make a difference. As we have seen with Nathaniel Maggie, as we have seen with Bay-12, as we have seen with Franti Kofa of the CDC, the Deputy Speaker in Grand Crew County, as we have seen with Abochie, who retained his seat in Grand Crew County, and many other CDC lawmakers and representatives who either retained their seat or won their seats in the counties or because of the resources they had. Now, having resources can be a plus, but at the same time can be a menace. It can be a menace if you have the resources and you are not relatable to the people. Hear me and hear me well. And you may disagree, and that's okay. The CDC has something. And that thing the CDC has that we tend to dismiss all of the time is called relatability. The CDC is an ordinary grassroots political institution. Members of CDC are slum dwellers, sons and daughters of slum dwellers. They are the majority of ordinary Liberians. The CDC is relatable. The language of the CDC resonates with the people. So, relatability plus resources will make you to succeed. Vani Sharma had the resources in 2005, but he was not relatable because he was being viewed as an elite lawyer who had so much money and had never been there for the people, so the people rejected him. Alexander Cummings has so much resources, but I doubt he is relatable. I doubt that his language is similar to the languages or the language of the ordinary people. Mr. Cummings did not find a way to relate to the people. He did not resonate with the people. He is not much more relatable compared to the CDC. He's been seen as an elite. His followers, his surrogates, the way they carry themselves, they are not relatable to the people. And so despite of the enormous resources he had, he was reduced from 7% to 1%. Relatability. Being able to identify with the people, projecting yourself as them, putting yourself in their shoes. The CDC, whether you like it or not, has that compared to any other political party. And that is a plus. So when you have relatability and then you have the cash, you will win. Let me share this with you to emphasize that point better. Nathaniel Magay came to power. In few years' time, this guy started dividing millions. Magay decided that he will pay tuition for high school students in Liberia. Nathaniel Magay spent a total of 172 million Liberian dollars in Bon County, in Nimba County, in Grand Bassa, in Mangibi, in Monserrato. Magay was seen in most of the vote-rich counties, offering scholarship to students in high school, mainly for poor people, children. Now, I know Magay did not get this money, honestly. I can argue Magay was using state resources to do so. But the ordinary people didn't care. I heard a song that they want Magay business, they hurting them, something like that I heard. They were sinking for a disgraced public servant who abused public trust. Most of the ordinary people know that no matter who is elected, when they get to power, they won't care for them. They can't point to a leader, most of the voters of today can't point to a leader who has shown them love by providing basic social services. They have not seen that leader. What they have seen more of is the fact that politicians come to power and they are only for themselves. As soon as they come to power, the first thing cars, the first thing girlfriends, the first thing homes for themselves, leaving the country, their children leaving the country, enjoying themselves. That's what they see over and over. And so when they see somebody bringing a little to them, they don't care, because they have known all along that is how they too can benefit, unfortunately. And so they will take it. We heard people arguing that, well, even though they might be stealing, but they are building it in the country. Some Liberians are making an argument. They feel that these people are relating to them. Edwin Snow comes to mind. This guy, Snow, will be elected every now and then. Thomas Fowler comes to mind. Thomas Fowler won 3 times in Monserrato County. He left and went to Lofa County in Foya and won again for the 4th time. Relatability. He speaks the language of the ordinary. He shares with them crumbs and peanuts. And they appreciate the crumbs and peanuts, and they will vote for him. So CDC has that relatability factor. Plus the resources, they have a chance. Now, another thing the CDC has that it can do right now to give them an advantage in winning this thing is the issue of cash, and promises of giving jobs to individuals. President Weah can reshuffle his government now, and they start to appoint some key individuals who did not succeed in the first round of the election. He can even start making promises to them and offering them jobs. If anything, most of the politicians want that job they want. I have not seen any of them to have, all it takes to transform our country. They want a job to better their lives. They have not been able to better the lives of our people. And so we know all they want is just job titles. That's all they want. And President Weah has that opportunity. He has the title of the presidency, the power to appoint anybody and give them the job they want anyway. He can make commitment. He can make promises. He can dish out cash to them. Right now, all Unity Party has is better days ahead. When you vote for us, we'll do this for you. And they leak information. I don't know how true it is that Unity Party has already started dividing jobs when the election The presidency has not been won yet. I don't know how true it is. So CDC has that right now. The president can start making some moves and offering some jobs to people. And those people will not hesitate to go in the field and campaign for him. So there are 18 elected independent candidates. The CDC with cash in their hands can reach out to those people. The CDC can reach out to those 18 elected independent candidates and give them resources to go into the districts that they want in to campaign. United Party may not have all that money for pool washers, for their own campaign. And if Unity Party may not have all that money to convince other politicians to come and endorse them, Unity Party may not have all that money to reach out to 18 independent elected lawmakers, to give them money and empower them to go in the districts they want to campaign for. The Unity Party may not have that money. The CDC definitely, we can say, has that money to reach out to these people, strike, deal with them politically, promise them better, or committees, and deploy them in the field, and they will go and campaign for the CDC, and the CDC has that to its advantage, and the CDC can use that. The CDC can go all out to seek endorsements of opposition actors who they did not badmouth during the campaign. For example, Simeon Freeman, the CDC did not badmouth him during the campaign, and the CDC did not hurt him politically. Jeremiah Wapo, the CDC did not hurt him politically. They didn't badmouth him. And many, Clarence Monba, the CDC did not badmouth him. The CDC can say, hey, Dr. Monba, we want you to come and support us, and we can make you Minister of Foreign Affairs for Liberia. This is a bright, young Liberian citizen. And he becoming Minister of Foreign Affairs in Liberia, I don't think he will turn that down easily, because it will be an opportunity for him to contribute to the country. The CDC can make such offer to him. Whatever amount of votes he got in the election, all the people may not follow him, but if he can bring even 10,000, or maybe he can bring even 5,000 to the CDC, that is a plus. And most so once he's promised and deployed in the field, he's from Lofa, whatever ethnic group he comes from in Lofa, he can go and appeal to them. All may not listen, few may listen. Even one vote can make a difference. And the fact that he will be on the, he could be on the CDC side, or if he decides to be on the CDC side, it will be a plus. President Weah has the bullet pulpit. He can speak to the Liberian people directly. He can talk about the missteps in the past, and that how he will lead differently, and that he has learned from his mistake, and he's going to reshuffle the government, and he's going to bring competent Liberians in the government. And it is about time for the Liberian people to focus on them. That message will resonate with a lot of people. He's well loved. President Weah can explore that. And the CDC can also invoke the Ellen factor and her followers, that they don't trust Joseph Boakai. They can invoke that narrative, that Ellen and her followers don't trust Joseph Boakai because Joseph Boakai is not a strong and good political leader. In fact, he's not a leader. They can make that narrative. That is the reason why Ellen Johnson Sirleaf had refused to support Joseph Boakai and even endorse Joseph Boakai. This is Ellen's vice president. Ellen did not support Joseph Boakai in 2017. Ellen again is not supporting Joseph Boakai. The CDC can invoke that narrative. Amara Conner was on the Unity Party side. Gafuan has been or was on the Unity Party side. Did Gafuan endorse Unity about Joseph Boakai? No. Did Amara Conner even contest on Unity Party ticket? No. Amara Conner contested as independent in Bopolu and won. Why have we not seen an endorsement from the former finance minister of Unity Party when we have a former vice president of Unity Party, former vice president of Liberia, who happen to come from Unity Party running for president? Why? The CDC can invoke that narrative that Joseph Boakai is not a leader. That is why, the likes of Amara Kone, Gafwan have not come to endorse Joseph Boakai. That is why even Ellen Johnson Sirleaf not supporting Joseph Boakai. Joseph Boakai cannot be trusted. They can invoke that narrative, and maybe it will convince some people. And also, the CDC can propagate the desperate return of the Unity Party to power. That, hey, the Unity Party is desperate. It's coming back to power now to do what it did before, to give themselves fabulous salaries. And they have 12 years. They didn't do much for our people. They can invoke that narrative. And as you see, there's leaked information that they are already devouring jobs. The CDC can do that. Another thing the CDC can do to win is they can apply an aggressive get out of the votes efforts in their stronghold. The CDC can do that. An impressive get out the vote campaign in their strongholds. You build a firewall in the counties you know you are stronger. And all you have to do is to get out the votes, get out your people to vote. Give them no reason to be discouraged, but every reason to be encouraged that they have a chance to win. And the CDC has the money to do so. The CDC is relatable. The CDC can do so. So that is what the CDC has. And the CDC can also run an all-counties campaign by fighting for every vote, even in the stronghold of Unity Party. The CDC did that in the first round of the election. The CDC netted significant votes in Nimba County. The CDC netted significant votes in Lofa County. The CDC won even Bone County. The CDC got more votes in what we would consider as Unity Party strongholds compared to Boakai winning more votes in counties that are considered as CDC strongholds. For example, in Grand Gila, CDC swept everything. The Unity Party, I think, got maybe 4,000 votes. That's what the Unity Party got in Grand Gila County. The CDC swept the entire Southeast. But Joseph Boakai did not sweep the entire Lofa County. CDC reduced the votes by working in those counties that are strongholds of the Unity Party. And the CDC having the resources to convince, elected lawmakers. And another thing the CDC can do, the CDC can take advantage of the voters that were trucked to the counties. For example, Musa Bedete said that he would never support Joseph Boakai. He would not endorse anything that would support Joseph Boakai. Any enrichment for Joseph Boakai, he said he would not support it. I'm not sure, but they have reason to believe that Musa Bedete might have trucked some people in Nimba County to vote for him. The CDC can reach out to him and provide the resources to get those voters back in that county of Nimba for them to vote for the CDC. Now, you can't guarantee that they're going to vote for the CDC. They can do otherwise, but you can also guarantee that none of them are going to vote for the CDC if the CDC makes that effort. Every vote counts, even if it is one vote. So the CDC has money to reach out to lawmakers who truck voters to the counties. I know for a fact, Franti Kofa from our hometown of Southtown truck people to Southtown. Who did he register? And they went back to vote for him. Now, because he's not on the ballot in the runoff, there's no reason for them to go back there, right? The CDC can reach out to Franti and say, well, you know your people, you took them to the county, we want all of them, we have the money to take them back to pay their transportation so that they can vote for us. Franti can get to work. Abache can get to work. All the CDC lawmakers who had trucked voters to those counties can get to work. The CDC also has the money to reach out to the 18 independent candidates who might have also trucked voters in the county, give them the money and reach out to them, promise them political deals like, better committees and all that. And they can do so, and the CDC can be able to pull this thing off. One last thing the CDC has is the CDC has influence on the National Election Commission. And this is going to be the controversial point, but I'm going to make it anyway, because this is politics, not for children. We talk the talk. Life is reality. In Nigeria, they cheated Peter Obi, according to one Nigerian senior official. That election is in court as we speak. The Supreme Court is yet to decide. Cheating went on, and a highly educated country like Nigeria to have 68 million invalid votes is unbelievable. It is a plus for Nigeria. Nigeria is a highly educated country. Nigeria is highly educated than even most European countries, and some of you might not know that. This is a country that went into election, and you're telling me that they had 68 million invalid votes? That is unbelievable. According to the senior official of Nigeria, Peter Obi was cheated. In that election, there was a tsunami momentum of the young people for Peter Obi, and they went to the poll and they voted overwhelmingly. But according to the Nigerian official, the votes were thwarted. Peter Obi did not win the election. Tinubu is president for Nigeria today. Nothing has changed that he got there, according to the official, through cheating. Sierra Leone comes to mind. A report said there were some individuals who manipulated the numbers and cooked the numbers in favor of Julius Maada Bio. And because the U.S. government have believed that that went on, the U.S. government slammed those people that did that with visa restriction in Sierra Leone. Maada Bio is the president. The elections that just ended, there are theories that something might have gone wrong, and they don't believe that an Apiton who is not known in Liberia will come third place in the election. Think about it. Cummings didn't come third place. Cummings has gotten 112,000 votes in 2017, 18 months to the election. Now he have to do some political working in Liberia for over 5 years, and it didn't pay off. He reduced from 7% to 1.6%. His total numbers that he got, total number of votes, Cummings got 29,000. Folks, think about that. How can someone fall flat from 112,000 votes? He didn't even get half of that. Half of that he didn't get. He didn't even get a quarter of that. How? And an Apiton who has no name recognition will come third place in our election. Tiawan Gonglo may not have contested in any national election in Liberia, but he had a name recognition to the greater extent. And he campaigned more than Apiton. He went to nearly every county. The man visited over 350 villages. He could not even come third place. So some people, because the numbers are so strange and unbelievable, believe something might have happened. And where were the opposition political actors during that election? Where were they? Up to now, all of them just crying and whining that, oh, they might have cheated. They have not come up with anything substantive. Some of them saying they're waiting for the final results and then they will come out. It will be too late. It will be too late. I'm saying this to say the CDC controls the National Election Commission. If while others are supposing that they might have cooked the numbers the way the numbers came out, just to have the results that we got. And as we speak, nothing has happened. No one has raised any significant alarm, except from Unity Party murmuring in their so-called war room, and the ANC sending out letters and complaining like a child. Nothing significant. And these opposition folks, you have been at the polling places with their representative, and you have been there to avert, and stop anything. I sell it. The way our elections are structured, Each party must have a representative at every polling place. They must be there during the counting of the ballots. They must be there during the tabulation of the ballots that have been counted on the tally sheet. They are there when the tally sheets are mounted. It's a very tally sheet. Net is getting the numbers from. So if you have the tally sheet, if you have the total, if Net cheats, you will know. How can we don't have any information from them as to what went wrong, if anything went wrong? How can? So, folks, so assuming what others are saying were the case, that the numbers were cooked, and yet you have an opposition that claims to have the intelligence and that they are smarter than the CDC. The CDC is inert, bunch of incompetent people. You're being cheated, according to some of you, by incompetent people, and you, the competent person, cannot detect that something went wrong. So that suggests that if something happens and be done by the incompetent NEG, then the competent opposition people not being able to detect that, and then this will be done deal. As the election became a done deal in Nigeria, the opposition cried and they couldn't stop it. In Sierra Leone, the opposition cried, they couldn't stop it. Malabio is president. I read an article yesterday that he's supposed to be making a case to some war ballot, trying to get money. It's done. He's president. You can't change it. Tinubu is president. You can't change it. CDC has that. I have reported and analyzed here so effectively that the National Election Commission did something strange in Lofa County. They manipulated the numbers with that by-election in Lofa County. And United Party was nowhere around. United Party had a press conference in which it's entirely like blamed itself and could not point at anything that was done against them to steal that election. The United Party could not show it. Today, that CDC elected senator is a CDC elected senator, or became a CDC elected senator. He took that seat and he served. So, CDC has that. The opposition must be vigilant and should be able to thwart whatever that the CDC is capable of doing. If they can't, CDC wins. If and only if that happens, because they are saying it happened in the first round and they have nothing to stop it. So, as they are saying, if it happens in the runoff and they don't have the ability, I don't know when they're ever going to gain the ability to do so. In Lofa, they didn't have the ability. In the first round, they didn't have the ability. That now they will have the ability. When we have just less than 2 weeks to the election, they have over 5 years to prepare for this presidential election. And they did not get the ability to stop anything, as they are saying. What makes you think they can get that ability now? They can get that capacity now, that they can put on their competence hard now. Do you think so? When everything is fluid now, when CDC will be deploying resources now, and when they don't have the resources now, when they have to be begging their own opposition community folks to come on their side now, it is when they're going to do it. When the pressure of limited time is on them now, this is when they will do it. So if any of the two who is well positioned to do the things that I have enumerated here and analyzed here, the CDC has the upper hand. Yet, nothing is impossible. The Unity Party, Joseph Weah Boakai, this is the test, the greatest test of his leadership. He had an opportunity to unite the CPP. He failed. He can't fail now. He cannot fail now. They must get the resources. They must recruit the pool watchers. They must train them. They must assign them. They must compensate them. They must be vigilant. They must be able to have a functioning and numbers-driven war room that will be 10 steps ahead of the National Election Commission. They must be able to announce their numbers way before the national election. They must do it in 24 hours. Anything short of these, I'm afraid it might be difficult for them to pull this victory. Yes, the anger in the country, the sentiments in the country, the political narrative in the country, these things are against the CDC. A momentous unified opposition led by the Unity Party and Joseph Boakai that will go to work in all counties can snatch this thing for President Weah. Unity Party must be a leader. Joseph Boakai must be a leader to do so. If they behave like the Unity Party we've known on the hands of Joseph Boakai, history will be repeated. But if they can do the opposite of what they've been doing by showing exemplary leadership, swallow their pride, especially poor time in pool washing, seeking endorsement, it's doable. Very, very doable. Indeed, it is doable. So, folks, who you think going to win the election? The one who will win the election is the one who will effectively do these things that have been explained. And once that side does that, that side is on its way to the runoff victory. That is the map to victory for Joseph Boakai, and also that is the map to victory for the CDC. We will wait, and I will be making my prediction in my next presentation. Keep following us here at Focus on Liberia, where we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Whoever gets the last laugh, whether it's Boakai, that person will be our president. The son that closes the broadcast says, we are all Liberians. Whoever wins, let us be peaceful. And we urge the National Election Commission to do the most honorable thing to ensure that the elections remain free, fair, and transparent. And we urge all Liberians to vote right, vote their conscience, and do it peacefully. Until I catch you again, my name is Anthony C. saying to you, bye-bye. Thank you, and enjoy the sun. We are all Liberians.
We are Liberians. Liberia.